everyone. Welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm Kathy Zhang. We are now live broadcasting in Oakland, California, in front of the state building. In a few minutes, there will be a rally here. It's called Coalition Against SB82. So this is obviously as a Senate bill by the California legislature, number 82. But what it's really about, why there's a coalition from, including leaders from law enforcement, community organizations, business communities. They are all here to express their views that why they are against this bill SB82. So here with me is the main organizer of this event, Mr. Frank Lee. Frank, thank you for coming to our
Thank you for joining us.
Sure. So give us a brief introduction of yourself and this coalition. Why you are here?
I'm Frank Lee. I am the president of Organization for Justice and Equality. Today we have a coalition of law enforcement leaders, business leaders, local legislators, business leaders, community leaders, educators, victims' family. We're here to voice our strong opposition to SB 82. This bill is disastrous and unacceptable.
Why is that?
If passed, robbery without the use of a weapon or without great bodily injury, GBI, would be downgraded to just misdemeanor. And it would actually render California uninhabitable. It is really endangering everybody.
Mm-hmm. And we understand that this bill passed the Public Safety Committee back in March, and it was then actually put on the suspense file in the Appropriation Committee. But why you are still here try to voice out?
Why we appreciate the Senate Appropriation Committee to put this in suspense file, we urge them not to put it back to the agenda, because they still have a chance that is May 20th. They will review all the bills in the suspense file. So we want them to listen to us and not to put it back to the agenda. We also would like to make our voice loud and clear to Senator Skinner, whose office is the 22nd floor here. We want her and all the legislators to know our strong opposition. No other state in our country has such a bad bill. This bill simply emboldens people to rob and is disastrous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and please tell us who are within this coalition today.
We have actually a five-group coalition. By alphabetical order is Business and Housing Network, Chinese American Institute for Empowerment, Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, Organization for Justice and Equality, as well as Silicon Valley Chinese Association.
Mm-hmm. And I know also some local legislators are also here, right?
Yes, we have local legislators, we have law enforcement leaders, we have business leaders, community leaders. This is a big coalition with people from different parts of the Bay Area and also from different professions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the event seems to be ready to start, and we'll hear from the speakers.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Great, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi. Oh, hi. Hey, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. One second. Yeah. Very nice.
Okay, right here.
Well, more people are coming. We're going to have the more tickets.
Oh, you want to wait?
Yeah, so because we have 50 more tickets coming.
So the test would like to start from here.
When was my turn?
Probably alphabetical order. Probably like 15 minutes later.
Okay, so just let me know.
Okay. So you want me to start now or you want me to wait? So can you have some little Oh, thank you. Yeah, we work very hard.
Very nice.
And still about 50 people coming on their way from South Bay, from San Francisco.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. That's why they told me to wait for 2 weeks. Because they have 50 people on their way.
Is the same thing happening in LA?
Yeah, in LA. Yeah, but they don't have so many people. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Good morning, our friends and supporters. Thank you for. My name is Frank Lee. I am the president of Organization for Justice and Equality. And today with me are the top leaders of 5 organizing groups, as well as many VIP speakers. We are here today to tell Senator Skinner and all the legislators that we strongly oppose to SB82, which is disastrous and unacceptable. Today we have a coalition of law enforcement leaders, business leaders, community leaders, educators, victims' families, and so forth, voicing out strongly opposing to SB82. This is a disastrous bill that must be rejected. Now, among us are 5 very strong groups organizing the event. By alphabetical order, we have Business and Housing Network, Chinese American Institute for Empowerment, Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, Organization for Justice and Equality, and Silicon Valley Chinese Association. Well, while we appreciate the Senate Appropriation Committee to put this bill into suspense file, we urge all of the senators in this committee not to put it back to agenda. SB 82, if approved, would cause all the robbery without the use of weapon or without great bodily injury, GBI, be considered just as misdemeanor. It would be up to the discretion of the jurors who normally cannot regard any injury such as black eye, bloody nose, or bruise to be considered as GBI. As a result, women, senior citizens, and minorities are the most vulnerable to this bad bill. SB 82 simply emboldens people to rob, and it disastrous. It is endangering everybody. Again, we condemn SB 82, which simply emboldens people to rob and is disastrous for our society. Senator Skinner recently mentioned that there are 4 states, mainly New York, Illinois, Texas, and Oregon, which have passed a similar bill. But that is wrong. That is just the opposite. In these 4 states, robbery is considered a felony. And if a robbery involves the use of weapon or serious injury, then it's considered aggravated felony, which is a more serious charge. So it is just opposite to what she has described. So we urge California legislators to learn from their counterparts in these 4 states to better protect Californians and definitely reject SB 82. In order to help our citizens not to be misled, we are unveiling a website today solely on SB 82. It is www.notosb82.com. NOTOSB82.com. No to SB 82. Please check it out and do not be misled. Now, recently some legislators promised to better help or protect Asian Americans, but they got to take action. To a large extent, robbers keep attacking Asian Americans because of the disparity in size. So a very practical and helpful way for them to help us is to reject SB82 and tighten the law against crime. Finally, lowering prison expenses should not always be an excuse for our legislators to keep coming up with bad bills, hurting our society and empowering the vicious criminals. They got to know that negative reinforcement is needed for any society to maintain proper law and order. And we've got to strike the balance. We cannot let an extreme bill such as SB82 to be approved. Protecting law-abiding citizens should be a top priority for all the legislators. At a time when we have so many highly visible and notorious robbery cases, Californians need more protection, but not less. SB82 is disastrous, is going the opposite direction, and must be rejected. Yeah, let's tell the legislators now, loud and clear, what we want. Okay, together. No on SB82. No on SB82. No on SB82. No SB82. Robbery is not petty theft. Robbery is not petty theft. Robbery is robbery. No on SB82. No on SB82. No on SB82. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you our first group of VIP speakers. They are our law enforcement leaders who always got assignment and they have delivered us anytime. So, alphabetically, we have a top leader from California Police, and she has been doing a great job, an excellent job in fighting against drugs and crime for us. And her region actually includes about 8 million in population. She is the Region 1 or Bay Area chairwoman of California Narcotic Officers Association, Ms. Faye Maloney.
Good morning, everyone. Morning. My name is Faye Maloney. I'm the chairwoman for Region 1 of the California Narcotics Officers Association within California. We represent over 7,000 members of the state of California. I want to thank all of you for being with us today as we advocate for the opposition of SB82. This proposed legislation is dangerous to the safety and quality of life of all communities in California. California Penal Code 211 is defined as the felonious taking of personal property in the possession of another from his person or immediate presence and against their will, accomplished by means of force or fear. I want recent Bay Area smash and grabs that have been occurring throughout this region. At this time, I want you to imagine your grandmother, your mother, your sister, your wife, your friend, going to the grocery store, just sitting in traffic when a perpetrator violently smashes through their vehicle window and begins to forcefully remove their belongings. I want you to picture your loved one at this point, fighting to maintain their most important belongings, their purses, their money, their credit cards, their identification cards, their medication, or token of loved ones. They're trying to hold on, but the force being used drags their hands through broken glass, sustained physical injury, on top of the psychological trauma that they just experienced. Now you have stopped them from going home to work or attending to their important values. They're now calling 911, asking for the police to help. You now have individuals believing the force or fear they just experienced that will more than likely leave them with a post-traumatic stress disorder and financial troubles is nothing more than a simple petty theft. I disagree. Many of our communities disagree. During a time where we're advocating for individuals experiencing mental health disorders, let's protect our communities from traumatic experiences. We have a vulnerable population that's afraid to go to the grocery store, drive from point A to point B, because they don't want to be victimized. It's time to take into account the safety of our communities. We have a responsibility to the public to maintain transparency and accountability. We cannot decriminalize violent crime. Robbery is not petty theft. We need to invest positive energy and coaching programs into our communities, specifically our youth, not decriminalize violent crime. This Senate bill does nothing but empower criminal behavior. I will ask you to oppose SB82. Thank you all for being here.
Well, actually, the district attorneys have been working hard to fight with us in this important battle. You know, according to the chairman of California District Attorneys Association, Mr. Vern Pearson, the author of this bill simply do not understand there are two different meanings to robbery and petty theft. The two are not the same. And right now we have a deputy district attorney who has been working with us in this battle. He has been enlightening the public with a lot of good presentations. His presentation materials are impressive. We're so happy to have a deputy district attorney who is the community relations liaison of Asian American Prosecutors Association, Mr. Glenn Kim.
SB82 sends the wrong message to our Asian community, especially to those vulnerable victims of crime of robbery by use of force or fear. At this moment in time, we should be sending a strong message, a message that the ones that are the most vulnerable in our Asian community will be protected, that they will get justice under the law, and that the community that they belong to will not stand idle, and that we will not tolerate robberies by use of force or fear. What SB 82 tries to do is it tries to reclassify a violent crime into a petty one. Well, robberies by use of force or fear is not a petty crime. It is a violent one. What SB 82 lacks is it does not take into account the human element, that human factor. Why are robberies violent? It's because we have a human victim. For example, if I were to go to a store and someone steals a purse from that shelf, that is not the same as someone stealing a purse from the arm of an individual. Why? Because of that human factor. Because force or fear is used. Because that violent crime leaves the victim traumatized. It leaves the victim violated. It leaves them so scared and in fear that it can have lasting effects on their individual sense of security, as well as their mental health. And let's talk about intent. What is the intent of that individual when they take a cell phone from the store shelf? Well, that intent is to steal that object. Is to steal that cell phone. But what is the intent of an individual that takes the same cell phone from a person that's using it from their hands through force or fear? There is a different intent. That intent is to traumatize that victim. That intent is to scare that victim of their personal safety to the point where they can snatch that cell phone. It is different. Why? Because robbery is not a petty theft. Robbery is a violent theft upon a person. The recent media attention to our Asian community, to the victims of crime that Asians have suffered, shows the fear and the traumatic effects that our community has faced because of the aggressive, the hostile, and the brazen acts that robberies using force or fear brings about. Not all robberies involve great bodily injury. Not all robberies involve the use of a deadly weapon. But there is something the same in all robberies, and that is violence. It's a violent act. SB82 will embolden those individuals committing these acts by telling them that robberies are mere petty offenses and that they are not serious crimes with serious consequences. We need to protect our community at this time. 82 sends the wrong message, the opposite message. Please join us in opposing SB 82 because robbery is not a victimless crime. Thank you.
Right now, I would like to read out a very concise statement by the District Attorney of the County of St. Louis Obispo. This is Dan Dow, D-A-N, the last name is Dow, D-O-W. According to Mr. Dow, I strongly oppose to SB 82. I was shocked to learn of it. The proposed legislation is dangerous to the safety of all communities of California. It is hard to imagine that any person who cares about crime victims would ever consider such a reckless change to the penal code. I must conclude that the proponents of this bill are naive about the reality of violent crime and of how our justice system functions. Perhaps this is because we have called the criminal justice system for too long instead of victim justice system. So we should all reject SB 82. Again, this is Dan Dow, District Attorney of St. Louis Obispo County. So right now, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you the group leaders who have been working hard to make this event possible. By alphabetical order, I would like to introduce to you our first leader, who is a hero of Oakland. When Oakland got so much crime, and he was bravely and firmly standing up to protect Oakland citizens. And is the top leader of Oakland, the president of Oakland Chinatown Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Cao Chen.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say thank you to many of you. Of course, Frank, organizing with so many people here, with many organizations and many of my friends. And earlier yesterday, I think Frank is saying that, hey, you know what? We're not sure how many reporters are going to be here. So I said, I'll make some phone calls. And not only that, I make the phone calls, I actually became a victim. So many of you want to do this interview. So now, absolutely, we got the attention. But unfortunately, that's not the right way to do it. Now, before I go on, I want to say thank you because I received at least 500-600 messages from many mayors, many elected officials, many community leaders from all races. And they are calling in, sending the well wishes. And many of them actually advising me, you may become the target because you're speaking so much against this kind of crime, and you should not be speaking. But you know what? And they're saying that you got hurt, should be staying home. And that's the opposite I'm going to do. Not only that, I want to stay strong, and absolutely that I will continue even stronger to advocate for our community, especially our seniors. And I'm not talking about only seniors from the AAPI community. I want to talk about seniors from all races. And I also want to make sure that we are protected, not only the AAPI community. We want to make sure that the entire community, all of us, no matter what race you are, we should be all protected. Why am I speaking here today? Very simple. Just like all of us, we want to protect everyone. And you already know what SB 82 is all about. So it's not about understanding it. It's about what we are going to do. So I myself, I will call and talk to our Senator Nancy Skinner again. Hopefully that she will withdraw the bill. And I'll be talking to many of our elected officials, our lawmakers in the state, and making sure that they will not support this bill and let them understand why and why we are doing this. So I think this is very important, very personal, not only to myself, but also to every one of us. So we are here, we want to stop all these attacks, and especially when they are talking about this robbery becoming petty theft. So we are not only talking about the AAPI community, we are talking about all of us in this entire state, which we all love and we live in and we enjoy. So with that said, I try to keep my speech short because there are many speakers here, and definitely I want to say thank you again. And I tell you, some of the messages I received, I can share some of them. I also got a phone call from the Attorney General just coming in as a new Attorney General, Rob Bunter, and many mayors. And one of the phone calls I got is very touching. It was from Mayor Libby Sharp. When she was calling me yesterday night, she was actually crying. And actually also brought tears to my eyes. And she was crying, she was saying that, look, she doesn't want to lose me and many of us in the community. And especially people that are fighting not only for the community, but for the entire city. And in fact, I would say that, Libby, don't worry. I will stay safe, I will stay strong. So with that, I just want to tell you that there's so many good people out there and want us to stay safe. So if one message I have for everyone, we want to keep everybody safe. We want to make sure that the SB82 will not pass. And I want to let you know that on May 15th, we are organizing the national rally, which is what we call that Unity Against Hate, which is going to be taking place in many cities throughout this country. And starting at 11 a.m. at the same time throughout, either East Coast, West Coast, many cities. So I hope that you'll be joining us. We'll be inviting many community leaders, elected officials from all races. They'll be joining us. So hopefully we'll be united together. Again, we want to promote to unity, love, and not hate. So with that said, I want to say thank you. Let's give a big hand for all these people fighting for all of us. Thank you.
So right now, the next leader actually has been instrumental in working with me to organize the event, and her group has been contributing much, especially in the area of protecting homeowners' interests. And she is a board member of Business and Housing Network, Ms. Dan Pan.
Oh, again, thank you so much, Frank, for the introduction. First, thank you so much for your coming on such a beautiful and sunny day. But do we feel safe and beautiful anymore? No. Yeah, see, that's the answer. My name is Dan. I'm a board member of SOHN. We have 1,000 members across California. They are front workers. Tremendously feel that the stealing and car breaking has been increased recently. Everybody knows the reason, right? I hope you won't feel the experience anymore. But do you? Do you have the experience of stealing and car breaking?
Yes.
Every day, our members go to work. They're so scared their car will be break. Someone will break into their house. Their purse may be stolen when they're shopping. The heartbreaking is every day they get a lot of phone calls from their tenants. Just tell them, my car is broken. Someone got into my apartment. My purse was stolen, etc. and etc. They call the police, but most of the time they cannot do anything. Sounds like life is hopeless. Where is our sunshine of safe and beautiful California? We have to keep asking us this question. How California can protect us, our vulnerable people, seniors, minors, immigrants, women, and even disabled. We can't imagine if SB 82 passes, the robbery will increase just like Steny has right now. California needs fair law. We cannot punish people who follow the laws. Robbery is robbery. Robbery can never be theft. Let's shout aloud with me. No SB 82.
No SB 82.
Robbery is robbery.
Robbery is robbery.
No SB 82.
No SB 82.
Robbery is robbery.
Robbery is robbery.
Thank you so much.
What about the victims? No SB 82.
No SB 82.
Yeah, what about the victims? What about the victims?
Okay, so the next leader actually is from an organization which has become very active and visible, doing a very good job in different aspects. But the most notable success of this organization is that they play a major role in defeating the notorious Prop 16. So this is Silicon Valley Chinese Association. We have one of their leaders here to speak to us. Silicon Valley Chinese Association. Oh, then, I was told that, the President Jason Xu is not coming, some emergency, so would be a leader replacing Jason. Okay, maybe they'll speak later. Okay, so the last but not the least, according to alphabetical order, is organization which not only has been enhancing the rights of Chinese Americans, but also has been doing a good job in fighting against drugs and crime. And they also have been very cooperative with the allies. This is the Chinese American Institute for Empowerment. Their chairman, Mr. Zhou Eng.
Good morning, everyone. I am one of the person, like many behind me, who live in Ms. Skinner's district. Over here, I will have a message for her. We, the constituents, the citizens, vote them or put them in office for the purpose of bringing prosperity to our society, to our community. SB 82 does the opposite. In order to have prosperity for the community, we must have law and order. SB 82 deteriorates law and order. So, in here, like many of the district constituents, voters behind me, we would like to remind Ms. Skinner, as well as the many representatives in our state Congress, that we, the people, reject SB 82. We call for Ms. Skinner to withdraw SB 82. It does nothing to help our community, but deteriorates it. If you deteriorate law and order from a community, there will be no prosperity. The righteous people, the innocent, the law-abiding people will move out of the community. If they cannot stand all the violence that's going to happen. So, I call for Ms. Skinner to withdraw SB 82. Thank you very much.
So right now we have another group of VIP speakers. They are coming all the way from the South Bay, from East Bay, everywhere. And alphabetically, the first leader is from the South Bay, and she has long been very dedicated against drugs. And she used to be a professor in college, and her son actually suffered much from drugs and crime. And we're happy to have Dr. Christy Brown.
Hi. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So one of the things that Nancy Skinner has said is that there's a disparate impact on minorities from the sentencing of robbery.
And she hasn't really taken into consideration that there's also a disparate impact on the victims who are from mostly minority communities, because those are the people that are most suffering from robberies. She also says that the mentally ill are more affected by being sentenced for robberies. But statistics show that mentally ill are more likely to be the victims of crimes as well. So when she talks about disparate impact, she's kind of forgetting about the victims that are going to be the real ones that are suffering, as we have seen here. So one of the things that I found in researching is that up to 50% of all robberies are committed to get drugs. And instead of changing the laws so that we disappear some of these sentences, maybe we should be thinking about other ways of reducing robberies, like reducing drug addiction, treating drug addiction, catching drug addiction before it gets started. I just read a recent study that says that if you're a young adult and you take a 30% chance of getting addicted within a year, these people end up homeless on the streets. They are victims, and they are also tend to end up doing anything that they can to get drugs. And so we have to think about other solutions than simply changing the definition of robbery in order to solve these problems. And one of them would be addressing the issues of homelessness, drug addiction, mental illness, and we really don't have enough people, enough treatment centers, so all of these things work together to create this crime wave that we're experiencing, but doing what she's doing is not really going about it the right way. Thank you.
So right now, according to alphabetical order, is a leader who has contributed much to the city of Palo Alto. And recently, he also has been vocal against SB82. We're happy to have the council member of Palo Alto, Mr. Greg Tanaka.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Thank you to the organizers for inviting me to speak. My name is Greg Tanaka. I've been serving on the Palo Alto City Council since 2017. There is a record increase of over 150% in hate crimes against Asian Americans. The proposed SB82 is likely to increase the number of violent crimes. This is not acceptable. We, especially our elderly, need to feel safe. The reason why proposals like SB82 happened is because of lack of representation among Asian Americans. During World War II, Japanese Americans were forced into concentration camps. My grandfather was one of these Americans. He died of tuberculosis in the camps, leaving my dad fatherless when he was only 5 years old. He stood alone. There were no protests for this injustice, just silence. After World War II, my dad faced intense anti-Japanese sentiment. This was so bad that my dad dropped out of high school, depriving him of an education. Once again, he stood alone. There were no rallies, just silence. Many hate crimes go unreported. Some Asians don't even know that they're entitled to report being sweared at or getting doused with water. Why is this? Some Asians think we should keep our heads down and our mouths shut. Should we keep our heads down and our mouths shut?
No!
Should the families of the 6 Asian American women murdered in Atlanta stand alone?
No!
We can no longer afford to stand alone. We need our voice heard. We need representation. We need to refuse to be everyone's punching bag. Asians are 15% of the population in California, but make up only 6% of the voting population. Right? So we're 15% of the population, but only 6% of the vote. We're less than 3% of elected officials. Why is that? I have a plan to change that, and there are 2 parts. The part 1 is we need to go out and get every Asian American registered to vote.
Yes.
Take the challenge to get 8 people to register to vote in 8 days. If we do the 8x8 Stop Asian Hate Challenge, we will show that the Asian vote matters, that we matter. Can you guys do this?
Yeah!
This leads to part 2 of the plan. Part 2 of the plan is you must get involved. I really like seeing all these Asian Americans coming out to talk about a topic. Most Asian Americans do not get involved in politics. But we must get involved. We must volunteer. We must donate to political campaigns. We must run for political office. We cannot keep our heads down and our mouths shut. This is one reason why I'm running for U.S. Congress in 2022. We must stand together. Will you guys join me? Can we stand together? Yeah! Finally, I want to encourage everyone here to also join me on Sunday, May 2nd at 2 p.m. for our rally in Palo Alto for Stop Asian Hate that's going to promote voter registration. Thank you, and no on SB82. Thank you so much.
So right now, according to alphabetical order, is our next speaker, who has long been contributing much in the aspects of education. And not only that, he also did a good job in the fight against crime and drugs, and he is a former school board trustee of the New Haven Unified School District. This is Mr. Jeff Wang.
Hello. Okay, thank you for everybody be here to support of this event. And as we all know, after Proposition 47, there was the criminals and the robbery, the numbers increasing in California. And today, there is another one, SB82, will even get worse. So, SB82 is attempt to reducing the punishment for some felony robberies and to just misdemeanors charges for the predicate if there is no use for the deadly weapons or harm a great body injury. Okay, as we understand, even some the robbery is committed without with the deadly weapons does not mean victim not suffering harms. And for the disabled individuals, elderly, women, and children, they can easily to push down without using the deadly weapon. Okay, if we allow those criminals and easily get off as a misdemeanor, actually we are promoting the robberies. For our community safety, I want everybody together, for our kids, for our family, for our elders. Okay, we say no SB82. No SB82. And also, you know, if this bill is eventually passed, they will apply for the retroactive for the past sentence. And many victims may will face back to the court again for the retestified and do the re-evaluation to reducing those criminals' sentence. That's what we heard them more. That's terrible. So, I mean, we don't want our community and face this anymore. So, Senator Skinner, I don't know where you are now. Are you listening to us now? Can you hear all the community, all the people is crying and yelling, no SB82?
No SB82!
Please take some responsibility for your action. No SB82.
No SB82!
Thank you.
Right now, according to alphabetical order, according to alphabetical order is our next great speaker, who has long been having a lot of accomplishments for our society. And actually right now, Asian Americans in Fremont actually look up to him and are proud of him. He's the hero of Fremont, the vice mayor of Fremont, Mr. Xiao Yang.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, the organizers, for having me here. Today, I'm speaking in my own capacity, but in addition,
I'm speaking as a victim of such a robbery, which will be downsized to a petty theft if SB82 passes. On June 6, 2019, when I was taking BART from San Francisco to Fremont, a group of suspects forcibly took my iPhone when the train stopped at Brookville within the district of Senator Nancy Skinner. When I chased them, they pushed me down the escalator, went away with my iPhone, leaving me with bloody knees. I limped for 3 months after that. If the media wants to see the scars on my right leg, feel free to do so after I finish talking. That happened outside of Fremont. Let's talk about what will happen in Fremont. As you know, after Proposition 47 passed in 2014, from 2016 to 2020, in 4 years, the car theft went up 25% in Fremont. Theft from vehicles went up 40% in Fremont. This SB 82 will cause more damage and harm to the residents of Fremont, given that close to 70% of Fremont residents are Asian and Pacific Islanders. Personally, I believe SB 82 is a further step in the wrong direction after Proposition 47. If it passes, this will be the systematic discrimination not only against Asian and Pacific Islanders Americans, but also the systematic discrimination against all Americans except for those criminals. In the light of the Asian and Pacific Islanders Month in May, which starts tomorrow, in the light of the ongoing nationwide anti-Asian hate movement, let's all say no to SB 82. No! Thank you.
Okay, right now, alphabetical order, we have a leader coming all the way from San Francisco. Like I have said, we have people, leaders coming from everywhere. And she has long been doing a good job in serving the communities in San Francisco. And she knows exactly the impact of crime on low-income community. She is the executive director of San Francisco Community Empowerment Center, Ms. Teresa Duque.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Teresa Duque with San Francisco Community Empowerment Center. How are you feeling lately? Oh, I'm sure not fine. If you heard about SB 82, everyone wants their family, friends, and community to be safe and secure. In the past year, there has been an unpredicted increase of hate crimes against Asians, especially vulnerable seniors. And these are only the incidents that got reported. In 2020, hate crimes decreased over by 7%. But hate crimes against Asian community increased by 150%. Hate of all kinds should be condemned. And it is important to ensure that our community are safe from such crime. SB 82 reclassified death crimes to allow current and past offenders to be relieved of robbery charges. If they stole less than $950, they do not use a deadly weapon, or if they did not cause severe bodily injury. Robbery use force and fear in order to steal from people and from business. Is that straight and simple? Why should their guilt be reclassified as petty theft? Just because they did not attempt to kill someone? Why is the line drawn at 950? If someone threatened the life of my family for my bag, they should be held as accountable as someone who robbed a store with a loaded weapon. Robbery is robbery. This crime jeopardizes the safety of our communities. They have a profound effect on our mental peace and how we can live our lives. Our family, especially the elderly, are already too afraid to go out. We are all here. We drive a car. I worry about, will someone break into my car? Will someone try to threaten me for my purse? This is no end to the constant stream of news and social media posts about this kind of incidents. You have been heard and have been around, right? The endowment of this bill would only make matters worse. It is important for all of us to really think about the effect of the changes this bill proposes. It is our responsibility and your responsibility to oppose this bill for the sake of those we want to protect. Our community, our family, our livelihood are hurting. I'm hurting. And we cannot pick something like SB82. Say no to SB82, please. No! Thank you. No! SB82! No! SB82! No! Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Right now we have our last speaker of the day, and they just arrived. Is a board member of Silicon Valley Chinese Association, Mr. Timothy He.
Hello everyone, my name is Timothy He. I'm from Silicon Valley Chinese Association. I came from San Jose. So today I come here on behalf of SVCA to show our strong opposing against the SB82. SB82 will bring harm to our community, to hurt our people, to hurt the seniors. So we don't like SB82. Please, against SB82. We are with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. No SB82. No SB82. Protect Californians. Protect Californians. Robbery is robbery. Robbery is robbery. No on SB82. No on SB82. No on SB82. No on SB82. Well, we're so grateful to all the media friends coming, and we are very grateful to so many people taking off from work. You know, some of them even bring the whole family with children, with seniors. It really reflects the importance of this issue. You know, SB82 endangers everybody. It may render California uninhabitable eventually. So we urge the legislators to please listen to us. Please listen to us. One more time. No on SB82! No on SB82! No on SB82! Hopefully the legislators listen to us. And one more time, thank you so much, media friends, for joining us. And the VIP speakers as well as the group leaders are available for individual interview. And also, one more time, thank you so much for joining us. Please give yourself a big hand. Thank you. Thank you very much.
知道，方便可以吧？